I was sort of like, I never talked about like what was going on inside, and I'd always do bad things. Like I tried drugs a little bit, and I would not respect my aunt that I live with. And yeah, so she sent me here for help.
I had a real big problem with not listening to my parents, like very defiant. Like if they told me to do something, I'd do the complete opposite. And I had a really big problem with anger.
And then fatten that one to the right on line 34.
Allegany Boys Camp is a camp for emotionally and behaviorally troubled boys. Boys who are having problems in school, behavior problems in school and at home. Their parents are not able to take care of them anymore or control them anymore. And we're having a lot of problems. Some of the boys are involved with the justice system where they're on probation, and something needs to happen. They need to go somewhere for help. And so we work with the boys in the outdoor setting to help them solve their problems, build relationships with them, and help them build relationships with others, and address the problems in their lives, and help to get the family back together again is our ultimate goal.
When you're by yourself, you don't really notice you have a problem, but when you're in a group with people you live with every day, they notice more about you. So you'll circle up, you get in a circle, and they'll talk about it, and they'll tell you your problem. And so you can actually see what you're actually doing wrong.
We started this camp in 2011. We enrolled 3 boys here in the fall of 2011. But that kind of came out of an expansion at Bald Eagle. I had worked at Bald Eagle for years, and there was about 5 of us at Bald Eagle that starting in about 2006, we started praying and asking God to give us an opportunity to start another camp, because at Bald Eagle we had 40 boys enrolled in the program, and we felt like that was the maximum. And we wanted to be able to expand to serve more boys and families. The reality of it is that camp is pretty simple as far as the facility. We don't have a large dormitory or a large, multi-wing, multi-purpose building. We don't have a gymnasium and some of those kind of things. The facility that we provide is pretty much 300 acres of woodland, and the boys build and maintain their campsite, kind of as you saw. The facility, what we provide as far as facilities, probably has more to do with the staff that work here. The people that work here are more important than actually the facility, or the brick and mortar part of camp is kind of minimal. But the most important part of camp is the staff that work here. And the reason for that is because we feel like that the relationships are the way we're going to help a boy and his family.
They are drawing up a sleep tent, which that's where we start building a tent. We all get graph paper and draw it up to scale, and we figure out how many posts we're going to need, how many beams we're going to need, how many rafters, that type of stuff, and that's the very beginning of a brand new tent, is being able to, each boy being able to visualize it in his head, what that tent's going to look like. So that's going to be ground level, but there's going to be some posts in there, so don't write ground level on that yet. Okay, now we're going to put our post in. And also then that graph paper gets put into their schoolwork file, which is it's a school portfolio that, you know, after when a boy leaves here and goes back to camp, then the school looks at that and says, you know, here's when he first came to camp and this is when he is leaving camp and the progress that he's made.
My role as a family worker, my position is called family worker, and my role is mostly about relationships, building relationships with the family. I need to build a relationship with the boy as well, so that I know him as well. And the process of getting to know a family it's a long process. We start out by taking the initial call here at camp. Talk to the family and try to find out as much as we can over the phone, and try to see if it's a potential fit for camp. Then when they send the application back, we send an application to them for them to fill out. They send that back, and then we go to their home and interview them in their home if possible, the boy, the parents, whoever else is involved in the process. We just try to get to know them a little bit, and it's also important for them to get to know us.
And each boy and family comes to us, and we sit down and set specific goals with each boy and family that comes here. But kind of as a big picture objectives of camp, we have about 6 or 7 objectives that we want to try to help each boy and family learn and make progress in while they're at camp.
My name's John, and this is my wife Lois and my son Luke, and we live in central Pennsylvania. We came to see Luke on a visit. Every 4 months he has goals that he needs to make so that he can continue to grow, and so this is our second time. We spent about 2 hours working through how did he do on his last set of goals, and then coming up with new goals for the next 4 months. Yeah, it was hard to look at some different programs and see. We couldn't imagine him being gone for that long, but we also couldn't imagine continuing to live in the same way we were at home, because it wasn't healthy. So one of the things they do say is that Luke has to decide he wants to be here. So we made a couple trips before we dropped him off to stay, and he saw, I don't know what it was that allowed you to make that decision, but he made the decision that he was okay with being here. But it wasn't easy. I mean, when we dropped him off, it was pretty emotional, but we still feel like we've done the right thing, and we've been very impressed with the staff and very encouraged by the growth that we see in Luke.
Learn most about hard work, how it's hard, but after a while it's like you get to know the accomplishments you've made, like building a tent. It feels good doing all that hard work but in the moment you really don't. But when you actually build the tent and look at it, you're like, it's a great feeling. And I've learned that because I never really wanted to do much work.
I definitely miss my family. Like, before I would take advantage of them and not really just take it for granted. And when you're here, it kind of makes you think what you don't have anymore. And you really start to miss home and you really want to go back.
The work that we do with the boys, there's nothing special about me, there's nothing special about our counselors. I just want to give the credit to God for what He is able to do through us, through our weak efforts. We do our best to love them, and by the grace of God, you know, if anything good comes from here, it's because of God.